Good evening, children. So today we'll start a new chapter, that is problems of human resource development and the role of the government. Now, in the previous chapter, we have learned about the human resource development and the indicators of human resource. Now, if you remember that the indicator is basically an idea that gives us about the development of human resource, such as literacy rate, life expectancy, infant mortality rate, per capita income, school enrollment and dropout, and immunization rate. So these are few indicators of human resource development. So in this chapter, we'll discuss about the problems. Now, every citizen of any country should be provided with opportunities to become a better and a good human resource, and that opportunity must be provided by the government. His standard of living should be high, and in fact, when the human resource is high, or the standard of the human resource is high, then that becomes a factor of a developed country. A country can only develop when the human resource is of high standard. But a country like India, with a vast population, the opportunities provided for human resource development is not very sufficient. That's because the national production is not strong enough compared to the growth of population. And also, the national income of our country is very low compared to other developed nations. So, at present, every country in the whole world is thriving to be a developed nation, and even our country, India, is in the race to become a developed nation. So, together with all the natural resources, skilled manpower, the human resource is also needed to increase the production. Now, although the government of India has a ministry, that is Ministry of Human Resource Development. Now, this ministry plays an important role to develop the human resource of the country. But yet, it's not being able to provide, or it's not being able to improve the standard of the human resource development. And that's because there are various factors or obstacles. And what the obstacles are, or what the barriers are in the human resource development in our country, that we shall discuss here now. So, the obstacle or the barriers are high population growth, shortage of capital, illiteracy, poverty, superstitions, social evils, inequality. So these are some factors or obstacles in our country, and that does not help in developing the human resource. Now, we all know that high population growth is an obstacle in the economic development of any country. And like India, it's not easy with a limited income to provide proper or the basic facilities and education to a high population. And therefore, high population is one of the main obstacle of human resource development. So, in order to make our human resource more developed and better, we have to check this high growth of population, not only in the whole country as well as in our very own state, Assam, because according to 2011 census, the total population of Assam is about 3 crore 11 lakhs 69,272, and that's way too much. And recently, our country has passed a bill, two child policy, and that's, I think, is one of the good steps taken up by the government, and this will help to control the population growth, not only in the state but as well as in the entire country. The next obstacle for the human resource development is shortage of capital. Now here, capital is not an administrative term, but shortage here is money. Now, some of the essential factors of human resource development are like education, health, and other civic amenities. Now, civic amenities such as education from primary school to up to the university level, then from technical to vocational training, bridges, roads, hospitals, proper clean and supply of drinking water, good and clean drainage system. So these all are important in a society for a better human resource development. But if you look in at the developed countries, they have all these things, facilities. The roads are good, they have bridges that connects every towns and even hamlets. But here in India, the roads are still not well developed if you have to compare with the other countries, and that's because of shortage of capital. The more capital we have, the more better the infrastructure will be. But due to shortage of capital, it is kind of a hindrance for the development of human resource development. So the two factors that we have discussed, that is the hindrance or a barrier to the human resource development, are one is high population growth and the second one is shortage of capital. Third is poverty. Now, poverty is also an obstacle to human resource development. Now, we know that a large section of India's population are unable to become physically and mentally fit to become and strong because of poverty. And people who are poor or who lives below the poverty line, they hardly can manage a 3-time meal, a proper nutritious meal for them. And since they cannot gather a nutritious food for themselves, they become weak, physically weak, and also mentally they are not very strong, they are not very sound minded. And to be a better human resource, a man or a person must be physically strong as well as sound minded, and that comes when a person is having or getting proper nutritious food, and also with that proper education. But because of poverty, many children, they engage themselves in work at a very young age. They drop out from school to help the family, and that's where the human resource does not get developed in our country. And these people, the people who are living below the poverty line, the confidence level goes down, and they also lose or lost their self-respect, and their living standard or the standard of life is not up to the mark, and that's because of poverty. And I guess 15% of India's population at present, or 15 to 20%, lives below the poverty line. Another major important obstacle to human resource development is illiteracy. Now, 26% of our population is illiterate, and this illiteracy prevents the this 26% of the population to develop their knowledge, their proficiency, their ability, and also their technical skills. So if they are not educated, if they are not proficient, or if they don't have the ability, or if they don't have any kind of skill, then they will not get any kind of job, and they have to live their life doing menial job, like working in factories as labor, and that will not raise their standard of living because their income will be also low. So, and also illiterate people can be very easily exploited, and at present, if you look around, people who are mostly exploited are the poor people and illiterate people. The next obstacle to human resource development is superstitions. Now, superstitions is a belief which many of us have. Now, if you look around, from aeroplanes to bus to cars and trains, even your house, everything, the gadgets that you use, now all these have been invented or discovered with the help of science and technology. So our life has been changed because of science and technology. But still, people who are uneducated, they have this superstitious belief. But people who are educated, even they sometimes fall victim of superstitious. Now, these section of population, the people who believe in superstitious belief, they are against any kind of scientific changes, and thus, because of this, the human resource cannot be developed. They stop to think something which is related to science and technology. Now, another obstacle to human resource development is inequality. Now, there are different types of inequality in the society, and India, as we know, is one of the largest democracy in the world. But though we are considered as one of the largest democracy, yet we have many inequalities in our society. Like, we have religious inequality, language inequality, ethnic inequality, regional inequality. Now, such inequalities creates a situation which stops the progress of a society. We don't think each other as a human, rather we differentiate each other in the name of caste, religion, language, and region. And that's where the human resource development is not being able to develop. If we as an Indian together, keeping aside all the religion, region, language, and move together forward, then our human resource will be developed. But this is not happening in our country. So these are some obstacles of human resource development in our country, and as well as in some parts of the world in other countries. So that's all for today. Now, in page number 149, there are 3 questions. Now, all these questions, you have to do it by yourself. Thank you.